Naruto, Hyuga member Awakens godly Tenseigan, Episode 81. Danzo's words, like magic sounds, lingered in Sarutobi Hiruzen's ears for a long time and never disappeared. Power corrupts people's hearts and has been in Hokage's position for a long time. Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't want to be forced to abdicate in the future. Regardless of Sarutobi Hiruzen in the future, Sarutobi Hiruzen now values rights very much. Okay. After a long time, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded silently. And Senju Tsunade, although he is your disciple, but enough. Tsunade is my disciple. I tolerate the Senju clan, and I tolerate Senju Nawaki, but not Tsunade. Sarutobi Hiruzen slammed the table. Hiruzen, I hope Konoha is just Konoha, not Konoha of the Senju clan. There is no discussion about this matter. Sarutobi Hiruzen is so firm that he can't do anything to harm his disciple. Knowing that Sarutobi Hiruzen could not be persuaded, Danzo did not mention it again, but he naturally had his own plan in his heart. I heard that the 3 of Tsunade's disciples are very powerful, and it's time to help Konoha. Danzo looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and said. This time, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not speak, but was silent, apparently tacitly acquiescing. People of the 11 Uchiha clan, don't send them to the battlefield until the critical moment. At the last word, Danzo turned and left. This time, Sarutobi Hiruzen also agrees with Danzo. Unless necessary, Sarutobi Hiruzen really does not want to send the Uchiha clan to the battlefield. After a war, all families will weaken, but only the Uchiha family will become stronger as they fight. During the war, the probability of Sharingan of the Uchiha family is too high, so unless it is a real critical moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen will never send the Uchiha family to the battlefield. During the First Ninja War, Senju Tobirama never sent the Uchiha clan to the battlefield. It was not about taking care of Uchiha, but because he feared that the Uchiha clan would be bad for the village when the strength of the Uchiha clan increased sharply. Senju Tobirama has fought with the Uchiha clan since the Sengoku period, and naturally knew Uchiha very well. However, what Senju Tobirama didn't expect was that Uchiha was fine in the end, but the Senju clan, who is also known as the 2 strongest families of Sengoku with Uchiha, fell lonely. This is also the old horse stumbled. It's a miscalculation. The next day, Sarutobi Hiruzen asked Mitokado Hamura and Udatain Koharu to temporarily manage Konoha, and Sarutobi Hiruzen began to gather ninjas. Except for the Uchiha family, all the ninjas of all the families were assembled, and Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't have time to mobilize for war. He directly led the ninja troops and hurried to the border. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Hyuga Chen and the others were among them. They just moved yesterday, and they were notified to let them go to the battlefield. Although it felt a bit wrong, Hyuga Chen didn't care. Anyway, he was not allowed to go to the battlefield. He had to go to the battlefield to see it. After all, Tsunade was still on the battlefield, so he was not at ease. On this trip to the battlefield, Hyuga Chen took Konan with him and left Konan in Konoha. To be honest, Hyuga Chen was not at ease. In case something happened to Konan, it would be too late for him to regret it, and Hyuga Chen took Konan with him, and he was 100% sure to protect her without affecting his fight. Why suddenly let us go to the battlefield? But it's okay, just miss Tsunade's sister. I don't know what happened to Tsunade's sister. Mikoto said softly, a little worried on his face. Don't worry. Although Tsunade is a quasi-movie, its combat power is not weaker than that of a movie class, and even a general movie class is not Tsunade's opponent. Hyuga Chen comforted Mikoto, and at the same time comforted himself. I don't know what you are worried about. Sister Tsunade is so strong, so there will be nothing wrong. Don't worry about it. And we will see Sister Tsunade soon. Kushina sensed that there was something wrong with the atmosphere and said, Konan, who was held in Hyuga Chen's arms, also nodded sharply. Looking at Konan in his arms, Hyuga Chen laughed. After traveling for a long time, he started camping and rest. Although he could reach the battlefield quickly by rushing to the battlefield with all his strength, even if he arrived at the battlefield, he would have no combat effectiveness, so rest is certain. During the rest, Hyuga Chen saw Nawaki unexpectedly. Nawaki, why are you here? I want to ask you too. Why are you here? And you still have Konan, do you think the battlefield is a tourist? Nawaki looked at the cute Konan and said silently, no way, keep Konan in Konoha, I don't worry, it's better to take Konan. Hyuga Chen said with a smile, you haven't said why you want to go to the battlefield. With your strength, you can only be cannon fodder when you go to the battlefield. Although Hyuga Chen's words are not sound, it is true. Nawaki's strength is at best a chunin, and chunin with the worst combat experience, only slightly better than genin cannon fodder. I came with our Senju clan. Nawaki stretched out his hand. Following Nawaki's fingers, Hyuga Chen looked at the Senju clan, suddenly speechless. I saw 40 or 50 ninjas, almost all of them old, weak, sick, and disabled. The strongest one was the elite Jonin, and he was still an elite Jonin who was old and had little combat effectiveness. This Senju clan is too pitiful. Or was it the #1 clan in the ninja world during the Sengoku period that once overpowered Uchiha? It's not that Hyuga Chen looked down on the Senju family and went to the battlefield like this. Isn't that going to die? Perhaps Konoha was just for the Senju clan to die. A flash of light flashed in Hyuga Chen's mind. At the beginning of the plot, the Senju 253 family has completely become history. There is no accident in a family, how could it be annihilated? The Senju clan will appear here, and it is impossible to get rid of Shimura Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen. Could it be that Danzo has already begun to study the cells of the first generation, and wants to get the body of the Senju clan? Otherwise there is no reason to take action against the Senju clan's old, weak and sick. Of course, this is just Hyuga Chen's guess, and Hyuga Chen doesn't know if it is true. Nawaki, it's not that I look down on you. You'd better return to the village now. The battlefield is not a joke. There will always be someone lying there forever. Hyuga Chen said solemnly, you can go, even Conan can go, why can't I? I want to train myself on the battlefield and work hard towards the position of Hokage. Nawaki couldn't listen to Hyuga Chen's persuasion. Naruto. Naruto is so important, don't you think about your family, don't you think about your sister Tsunade? You don't understand my dream at all. Yes. I don't understand your dreams, but you can only realize your dreams if you live. If you die on the battlefield, several people will remember you, Senju Nawaki. If it weren't for Tsunade's sadness, I wouldn't be bothered to persuade you. Nawaki's current stubbornness makes Hyuga Chen feel very angry. Episode 82. Chen, Nawaki, stop arguing between you two. Mikoto persuaded. Mikoto, you don't have to persuade. Hyuga Chen waved his hand to stop Mikoto, who wanted to say something. I don't know why you are so obsessed with Hokage, but let me tell you, dreams are dreams, and reality is reality. Don't talk about dreams all day, it's useless at all. If you really die on the battlefield, no one will shed a tear for you except your sister. Hyuga Chen said coldly. He is the kind of person who takes his own seriously and is extremely selfish toward others, so he doesn't understand and dislikes Nawaki, who ignores his relatives for the sake of dreams. I want to protect the village left by Grandpa. This is the most important treasure left by Grandpa. You can't understand me at all. Sneeze, I am not you. Naturally it is impossible to understand you, but you can't even protect your own people, you still want to protect others. Look at them on the battlefield, can you come back? You don't care if your Senju clan cut off the inheritance? Do you think you are a qualified young patriarch? Hyuga Chen pointed to the Senju clan and asked with a sneer, I just want to protect the entire village. Whether it is the Senju clan or the other villagers of Konoha, they are all members of the village and are my object of protection. Nawaki hesitated at first, but became more determined later. Upon hearing Nawaki's words, Hyuga Chen smiled. Ha 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 ha. Nawaki, you are a person who has great love. I am a selfish person. We are originally two kinds of people. I am too naive and want to persuade. Like Nawaki said, Hyuga Chen really couldn't understand him. Nawaki's behavior is stupid in the eyes of Hyuga Chen, but in the eyes of others, it may be selfless and worthy of respect. As long as you don't regret your choice today, I can't convince you, just do what you want. Hyuga Chen waved his hand, not wanting to talk to Nawaki. The two people's thoughts are obviously going in opposite directions, and it is futile to continue. After Nawaki left, Hyuga Chen looked at Mikoto, Kushina, and Conan, and asked gently, do you think I am too selfish? I don't think you are selfish, because you are. Kushina spit out. After Hyuga Chen heard it, his face collapsed suddenly. Just kidding. You are only selfish to others, not selfish to yourself. If you were really a selfless person and always think about others, I would still be jealous. Kushina said with a smile. As long as Hyuga Chen treats her well, it would be strange if Hyuga Chen is hungry about others all day long. Actually, everyone has this selfish psychology, and for us, Chen, you are not a selfish person. Mikoto smiled slightly. Brother Chen is the best person in the world, how can he be selfish? Conan blinked his orange eyes and said, read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Hyuga Chen laughed, and was irritated by Nawaki, and disappeared. Actually, Nawaki is not wrong. He just values his dreams too much and cares too much about the village. Don't blame him, Chen. Mikoto persuaded him. Actually, I didn't blame him, I just couldn't understand it. Maybe it's because our two concepts are different. Hyuga Chen shook his head and said, he did not think that Nawaki's pursuit of dreams was wrong, nor did he think that it was wrong for Nawaki to guard the village. He just couldn't understand that he put these first and put his family members aside. More importantly, Nawaki knew that he was weak and insisted on going to the battlefield. If he wants to go back now, even Sarutobi Hiruzen can't say anything, but because of his dream, he has to go to the battlefield. I really think the battlefield is an amusement park. Even if you want to become Hokage, there is no need to go to the battlefield. Hyuga Chen really doesn't understand Nawaki's brain circuit. In fact, Hyuga Chen didn't know, Sarutobi Hiruzen had already talked to Nawaki before, what Hokage is to guard the village, protect the villagers, and get the recognition of the villagers. I am optimistic about Nawaki again, thinking that Nawaki can become Hokage. In short, I poured a few bowls of chicken soup for Nawaki, but he couldn't find the north. Now he is thinking about making contributions and getting the villagers' approval. After taking a break, the large troops continued to move forward, and it took several days to reach the border between the country of fire and the country of rain. Sarutobi Hiruzen personally went to the battle, and also gave a boost to the imposing Konoha shinobi, so that they could once again show their fighting spirit. Hatake Sakumo brought Sanin to greet him. Sister Tsunade, here. Kushina waved to Tsunade. Tsunade looked at Hyuga Chen and the others, frowning. Why are you also on the battlefield? Tsunade walked over and asked, if I say that I am trying to give Konoha, do you believe it? Hyuga Chen asked with a smile. Tsunade glanced at Hyuga Chen, then shook his head. I don't believe it. What kind of person you are? I don't know. The enemy has hit Konoha's door. You should just stand by. Hey! I have such a bad impression in your eyes. Hyuga Chen curled his lips uncomfortably. Do you think you have a good impression in my heart? Then you still like me. Hyuga Chen said triumphantly. Tsunade blushed, and then said shyly, who likes you? I just saw you being pitiful when you confessed at first, afraid of hurting your fragile heart, that's why I agreed to be your girlfriend. That's right. That's it. Oh. Tsunade, are you arrogant? Hyuga Chen's smile became stronger. Humph. Tsunade snorted, then pointed to Konan next to Hyuga Chen and asked, who is this little girl? Konan, I recognize my sister. Konan hastened to call my sister. Sister Tsunade is good. Konan shouted cutely, yeah. Konan is good. Tsunade bent down and touched Konan's head. Why did you bring Konan to the battlefield? Tsunade said angrily, don't talk about us yet, look over there. Hyuga Chen stretched out his hand and pointed in the direction of the Nawaki and Senju clan. Nawaki, who had been paying attention here, after seeing Tsunade's gaze, turned around and hid. If his elder sister knew that he was on the battlefield, he would be really miserable, but no matter how much Nawaki hid, he still didn't escape Tsunade's fiery eyes. When he saw Nawaki, Tsunade was surprisingly angry. Hyuga Chen and the others went on the battlefield. Although Tsunade was a little bit blaming in her heart, she did not get angry because she knew that the three of Hyuga Chen were strong. Just coming to the battlefield, self-preservation is definitely more than enough, but what is the strength of her brother Nawaki? Is she still not clear about the elder sister? Is this coming to the battlefield as cannon fodder? Seeing that all the Sen just came, Tsunade became even more angry, and walked towards that side angrily. Episode 83, Sister. Knowing he couldn't hide, Nawaki scratched his head and shouted with a smirk, with a sneer on Tsunade's face, don't call my sister, I can't afford it. Princess Tsunade. Jonin Senju Tian, the only elite of the Senju family, greeted Tsunade. Before you came to the battlefield, why didn't you tell me? Do you still have me in your eyes? Tsunade said angrily, we also want to inform Princess Tsunade, but time does not allow. Senju Tian said bitterly. To calm down the anger in his heart, Tsunade said, now Konoha is in danger. It is right for us Senju to contribute to Konoha, but why did you bring the young genin of Senju to the battlefield? Don't you know the cruelty of the battlefield? This is what makes Tsunade most angry. It is not the same method used to contribute to Konoha. Tsunade, who has just experienced the cruelty of the war, understands that the strength of the Senju clan can't even make a splash on the battlefield. Princess Tsunade, I have also experienced wars. I know the cruelty of the battlefield, but this is Hokage's order. What can I do? Senju Tian said helplessly. He also didn't want to bring Senju's clansmen to the battlefield. How did Senju's decline in the first ninja wars, now 423, he still vividly remembers. Tsunade's expression turned gloomy. I'll go to the third generation old man. Tsunade went to the third generation old man angrily, and even the genin of the Senju clan was sent out. Did he want the Senju clan to annihilate? Tsunade felt a chill. Old third generation, I need an explanation. Tsunade said with a gloomy face. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his heart, knowing that his trouble was coming. Why my Senju clan? The whole clan appeared on the battlefield. Do you use our Senju clan as cannon fodder? Tsunade roared furiously, attracting countless people's eyes. Tsunade, I will give you an explanation in the future, but now the most important thing is the combination of rain, soil, and wind. There is no way, Sarutobi Hiruzen can only use drag words. Haha, do you treat me Tsunade as a fool? Tsunade sneered coldly. Tsunade, in fact, the teacher should have his problems. Everything he does is better to protect Konoha. What can be said privately? There are so many people here. Don't let the teacher stop coming to Taiwan. Jiraiya persuaded. There is nothing about you here. Leave it to me. This matter must be made clear. This Konoha crisis, as Konoha's first family, shouldn't the Senju clan take the lead? Just want to save their own tribe, and ignore the village. Tsunade, you are too selfish. Danzo said blankly. Haha. Tsunade smiled sadly, and asked Sarutobi Hiruzen, third generation, is that what you meant too? Sarutobi Hiruzen did not speak. Hearing that Tsunade stopped calling the old man, and directly called him third generation, he knew that Tsunade was really angry. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen not speaking, Tsunade continued, does the Senju family now deserve to be the Konoha first family? I remember when Grandma Mito was alive, she asked you to take care of the Senju family. How did you take care of it? Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Oh. Tsunade, everything is focused on the overall situation. I will give you an explanation in the future. Explanation, will there be the Senju clan in the future? Tsunade said mockingly. Tsunade, you have to be considerate of the teacher, it's not easy for him. Jiraiya, shut up, it didn't happen to you, what do you know? Tsunade glared at him fiercely. When Jiraiya wanted to say something else, Orochimaru next to him quickly stretched out his hand to hold him, and stopped him from interfering. You want to let the Senju clan contribute? I have no objection. Let those Genin and Nawaki go back and the rest of the Senju clan stay. No, absolutely not. As soon as Tsunade finished speaking, Danzo jumped out. What's the matter with you here? Tsunade's icy gaze swept over, his eyes full of murderous aura. Sarutobi, this is the good disciple you taught, even Naruto's assistant dared to stand up to it. Danzo said strangely, this is how the ugly people in the legend make more trouble. Hyuga Chen's voice is not too big or small, just enough to be heard by the people around him. All the ninjas around turned their heads to look at Hyuga Chen, to see who it was, so courageous, dare to face the darkness of Konoha. Who are you, a little genin, dare to insult me and take him down for me? Danzo was furious. TSK Tusk. It turned out to be self-aware. I haven't named the surname yet. You just made up for it by yourself. Hyuga Chen said with a smile. When the ninjas around heard this, they wanted to laugh, but didn't dare to laugh, their faces flushed. Why are you still stunned? Get him down for me. Danzo roared furiously. Who dare I? Tsunade said coldly, and the huge chakra made the surrounding ninjas feel breathless. This is the end of the matter. Now that the enemy is currently fighting, we are still fighting. What's this? Sarutobi Hiruzen grabbed the angry Danzo and said, wait. What do I want to explain? Tsunade said coldly, okay Tsunade, let's go. People have made it clear that the Senju clan is going to die. No matter how much you say, it's useless, let's go. Hyuga Chen took Tsunade's hand and left. Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression is extremely ugly. Sarutobi, you can see it. Young people think so extreme, such a person must not stay. Danzo took the opportunity to say, haha, when it comes to extreme thinking, no one can compare to you Danzo. Hyuga Chen looked back at Danzo, then took Tsunade and turned away. Oh. After sighing, Sarutobi Hiruzen said, don't look at it, go to your post and be alert to the enemy ninja's sneak attack. Danzo, what's the matter with you? Sarutobi Hiruzen felt a little bad looking at Danzo, who looked dull and blank. Miss Sarutobi, he seems to be an illusion. Orochimaru reminded faintly, what? Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately sent chakra to Danzo, disrupting his chakra flow, but to no avail. Orochimaru's eyes shone brightly, and he said softly, Miss Sarutobi can try to stimulate with pain to achieve the effect of breaking the illusion. Sarutobi Hiruzen hesitated, then took out kunai and pierced Danzo's arm. But Danzo was still stunned, without any reaction, as if he was not the one who was stabbed. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Orochimaru. It's useless to look at me. The things I learned are all taught by you. Whether it is disrupting the flow of chakra or the pain of the body, it is impossible to crack. This is definitely the strongest illusion I have ever seen. I have no choice but to do it. Orochimaru said with a hand, who used the illusion? Is it him? Sarutobi Hiruzen thought of Hyuga Chen, because Danzo looked back at him because of Hyuga Chen, and then got the illusion. Although I can't believe it, Hyuga Chen is the biggest suspect. Episode 84. It can make the shadow level powerhouse fall into the illusion, but it can't be cracked. This illusion is really too strong. Orochimaru licked his tongue, a glow of heat appeared in his eyes. At this time Orochimaru, although he has not yet embarked on the road of science and technology, his pursuit of ninjutsu has reached a feverish level. It must be the illusion performed by Hyuga Chen. I'll go find him. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was cold and his expression was extremely serious, not to mention the relationship between him and Danzo, but also the importance of Danzo to Konoha now. Sarutobi Hiruzen will also go to Hyuga Chen and let him solve Danzo's illusion. Haha, does Mrs. Sarutobi have any evidence? Orochimaru chuckled and said, I have seen the kid Hyuga Chen before. Although he said a bit too much today, it should not be him. He is only 10 years old. How could Danzo fall into illusionism? Jiraiya shook his head and said, "Don't compare genius to you, idiot." Orochimaru, what do you mean? Orochimaru glanced at Jiraiya with contempt, then said in a cold voice, "Idiot, whether it is or not, I want to talk to him." Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a glance at Orochimaru, "Ha ha ha." Danzo, who hadn't been moving, suddenly laughed wildly, then raised his right hand, dug out his right eye extremely fiercely, and squeezed it with one hand. "You damn monster, finally dead, ha ha ha." Danzo yelled frantically. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo in disbelief. Anyone who didn't know would think Danzo was crazy. After removing his right eye, Danzo also woke up, feeling the pain in his right eye, and couldn't help screaming. "Danzo, are you okay?" Sarutobi Hiruzen walked over and asked worriedly, aha. What's wrong with me, am I fighting a monster?" Danzo screamed, covering his eyes. "Danzo, you fell into illusion before. Illusory?" Danzo was stunned. "Illusion?" Danzo smiled and fell to the ground. The blood on his face matched his smile, and it looked so gloomy that it could scare the child to death. "Danzo? Hurry up and inform the nurses." Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted. After that, Danzo was carried away by a medical ninja from the nursing class. After diagnosis, in addition to physical injuries, the most important thing was mental injuries. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. As for how long it would take to recover, the medical ninja couldn't give an answer, making Sarutobi Hiruzen gritted his teeth angrily. "I'm going to see Tsunade for treatment." Sarutobi Hiruzen went to Tsunade angrily. "When I came to Tsunade's tent, I found that there was no one at all. After asking the alert ninja, I realized that I had gone to the settlement of the Senju clan." Sarutobi Hiruzen went to the foothold of the Senju family again. When Sarutobi Hiruzen came, Tsunade was still reprimanding Nawaki. "Sister, Hokage-sama is here." Tsunade glanced at it, and then as if he hadn't seen it, he continued to reprimand Nawaki, making Nawaki, who thought he had escaped, forced him down again. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Tsunade, then turned to look at Hyuga Chen, and asked with a cold expression, "Hyuga Chen, did you perform illusions on Naruto's assistant Danzo? Do you know how serious this is? Yo. Hokage is different. He came up to ask me the crime, then do you have any evidence for Hokage-sama?" Hyuga Chen, who was playing with Konan, raised his head and said with a smile. Sarutobi Hiruzen's anger rose in his heart. Looking at Hyuga Chen's posture, it was clear that he did not put his Hokage in his eyes. In fact, Hyuga Chen did not put Sarutobi Hiruzen in his eyes. "Everything has to be evidence, can you show evidence? Even if you are Hokage, you can't just slander a good person. This hurts my little heart." Hyuga Chen said with an exaggerated expression, covering his heart. Angry. Apart from the word anger, there is no way to describe Sarutobi Hiruzen's mood. Tsunade glanced at Hyuga Chen, and then showed a sweet smile. Hyuga Chen is venting her anger. "Third Hokage, Chen is only 10 years old now. Can Shimura Danzo have illusions? If you want to frame my disciple, I also need to find a better excuse." Tsunade put his arms around his chest and said playfully. Sarutobi Hiruzen clenched his fists. "Oh. Does Naruto want to hit me? I'm so scared." Tsunade begged for a hug. Hyuga Chen swooped into Tsunade's arms and rubbed his face against Tsunade's opai. Tsunade's face turned red, and he didn't expect Hyuga Chen to eat her tofu. "Hyuga Chen, is this your attitude towards Hokage?" Sarutobi Hiruzen roared furiously. "Haha, then what kind of attitude do you think of me and respect you? This is my attitude. If you look at me upset, you will hit me." Hyuga Chen had a stubborn expression on his face. Puff. Mikoto and Kushina couldn't help laughing, even Nawaki, who had always been a wooden man, couldn't help laughing. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was distorted. It was the first time he was so furious, but he couldn't do anything to Hyuga Chen yet. Otherwise, the whole ninja world will flow out, and the news of his Sarutobi Hiruzen bullying the child will lose his face by then. After taking a deep look at Hyuga Chen, Sarutobi Hiruzen turned to look at Tsunade. "Danzo is seriously injured, his spirit is on the verge of collapse, and he needs you to treat him. This is not the time to get angry." "Oh. I just came to the battlefield, and it's over. It's really a waste. You can't treat this kind of person, Tsunade." "Hyuga Chen." Sarutobi Hiruzen roared. "Speak down, I'm not deaf, why are you so loud? Do you want to scare me? I've heard that the current Hokage is not a good thing. Now that it seems to be the case, I know to scare the children." Hyuga Chen digs. He said with his ears. "Fighting has been going on these days, I'm a little tired, Danzo has nothing to do, so I won't find me." Tsunade faintly refused. "Danzo is already in a coma. I don't know when he will wake up. Now it's a battle in the ninja world. Danzo's role is indispensable. Tsunade, don't be arrogant. Sarutobi Hiruzen advised. Isn't it still dead? It's not a big deal if it's not dead. Danzo is also Naruto's help. It's really delicate. I don't think you should be a ninja, go home and raise pigs. Hyuga Chen interjected again. Seeing Hyuga Chen, who was interrupting again, Sarutobi Hiruzen was annoyed. If it were not for identity, Sarutobi Hiruzen would have beaten Hyuga Chen to death. Without the help of Danzo, Konoha would be dangerous, and you don't want the Konoha established by first Hokage to be destroyed. Sarutobi Hiruzen moved with emotion and wanted to persuade Tsunade, but Hyuga Chen is making trouble here, and Sarutobi Hiruzen persuaded him. Instead of persuading Tsunade, he got annoyed. Now when Sarutobi Hiruzen saw Hyuga Chen, his teeth were itchy and his body was shaking. Episode 85. Tsunade, don't you care about the village at all? Tsunade hesitated for a while, and then said, I care about the village, but who cares about our Senju clan? Konoha was founded by Grandpa. I will protect it if I want to protect it. But if I don't want to protect it, who has the right to say anything? As the granddaughter of first generation, how can you say such a thing? Sarutobi Hiruzen said angrily. I wanted to take good care of Konoha, but you disappointed me too much. After this incident, I also figured it out. It's not that you contribute to the village will take care of you, and I don't have to bear this. A heavy burden. As for Grandpa, I can only say sorry to him. Tsunade's tone was relaxed, but his eyes were extremely firm. Then Tsunade's face was solemn, and then he said, I, Senju Tsunade, representing the Senju family, completely withdraw from Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Tsunade in disbelief. He didn't expect that the trouble would be so big that it would rise to the point where the Senju clan quit Konoha. The Senju clan is indeed lonely, but the prestige of the Senju clan is absolutely terrifying. Whether it is among the big families or among the common people, the prestige of the Senju clan is irreplaceable. This is also the reason why Danzo proposed to let the Senju clan go to the battlefield, but Sarutobi Hiruzen did not object to it, because the unparalleled prestige of the Senju clan has overwhelmed his Hokage. If the Senju clan quit Konoha, then Konoha's heart may be lost. Sister, I don't agree with this matter. Nawaki, who has not spoken, stood up. Shut up, Nawaki, there is no place for you to speak here. Tsunade glared at Nawaki. I don't agree with the Senju clan leaving Konoha. I am the young patriarch of the Senju clan. Nawaki said stubbornly. The Senju people on the side were also extremely embarrassed, and they never thought of quitting Konoha. What's your choice? Tsunade gave Nawaki a disappointed look, then looked at the Senju clan. This. People from the Senju clan looked a little confused and didn't know what to do. Finally, Senju Tian stood up. Princess Tsunade, Konoha is after all the hard work of our Senju family. We don't want to leave Konoha. Hearing this, Tsunade shook his head even more disappointed. Sarutobi Hiruzen breathed a sigh of relief. Now Konoha is already very difficult. If the Senju clan quit Konoha, Konoha's momentum will be hit even harder. Maybe Konoha will really be over. Although Hyuga Chen was shocked by Tsunade's determination, when Tsunade asked that sentence, Hyuga Chen knew the answer. Because there has been an example before, and it is worse than Tsunade, that is Uchiha Madara. The Senju clan, who have been accustomed to Konoha, would not even think about leaving Konoha. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Tsunade, what you just said was too arbitrary. Sarutobi Hiruzen snapped. It's forgivable that you've done your sins, and you can't live your own sins. Nawaki, the road is yours. You have to do it yourself. Hyuga Chen walked over and patted Nawaki on the shoulder. Third Hokage, if I can make Konoha easy to win this war, but it will take some price, I don't know if you are willing to pay. Hyuga Chen turned to look at third generation. What's the price? Danzo's life. Is it very worthwhile to exchange Danzo's life for peace? Hyuga Chen has a smile on his face. Konoha will never trade people from the village for peace. Sarutobi Hiruzen said coldly, looking at Hyuga Chen's eyes very badly. Don't say that Sarutobi Hiruzen does not believe that Hyuga Chen has that ability, just believes that Hyuga Chen has this ability, and will not exchange Danzo's life for peace, a good friend for a lifetime. How really? Hyuga Chen smiled, without speaking. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words are nice, but Hyuga Chen sneered at it. How did Hyuga Hizashi die in the original? The atmosphere in the field fell into silence. Sister, don't be so unfeeling, okay? Konoha is Grandpa's lifelong effort, you can't watch it destroy, right? Nawaki looked at Tsunade and said, Oh. I will try my best this time. After the war, I will leave Konoha completely. Tsunade sighed and said, she couldn't really put down Konoha after all. The choice between Nawaki and Senju made Tsunade really hurt. Everything she did was for Senju. The Senju family really couldn't stand the toss. It might not be a good thing to leave Konoha now. War is a beast. At the beginning, the Senju clan had more than 1,000 people, and the well-deserved #1 clan in the ninja world was all classified as a third-rate clan in the First Ninja World War. Now that the Senju family is a third-rate family, can it survive World War II? Tsunade, Danzo's matter? Haha, Chen, let's go. Long time no see, let me see if your strengths are ruined. Tsunade greeted Hyuga Chen and the others to leave without giving Sarutobi Hiruzen any face. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was stiff, and at the same time, he was dissatisfied with Tsunade. He put his face down to beg her, and he didn't even give a bit of face. This time I was not invited, and I was so angry that even Konoha almost fell apart inside, making Sarutobi Hiruzen very angry. Reluctantly smiled at Nawaki, Sarutobi Hiruzen comforted the Senju people again, and then arranged them in the logistics department, so that Tsunade could put out the fire temporarily. Otherwise, if Tsunade quits, Konoha will lose a top combat power, and Konoha's situation will be even more difficult. People have their own ambitions. They have their own ideas and pursuits. Everyone has to walk their own way. Others can only help at most, so you don't have to be too sad. Hyuga Chen comforted Tsunade, who was emotionally depressed. He knew that Tsunade was very embarrassed, with his family on one side and the village on the other. Why send us Senju on the battlefield? Tsunade said, slightly confused. The wood is beautiful in the forest, and the wind will destroy it. The reputation of your Senju clan is too high. Hyuga Chen shook his head and said, Sister Tsunade, don't talk about these unhappy things. How are you on the battlefield? Will it be exciting and fun? Kushina asked with bright eyes. After Tsunade heard this, he was angry and laughed, and reached out his hand and nodded Kushina's forehead. You really treat the battlefield as a playground. People are dead at any time here. Don't be scared to pee on your pants when you get to the battlefield. Sister Tsunade, do you know how to speak? Why is it scared to pee on your pants? Uzumaki Kushina will punch her and the other party will be scumbag. Kushina said confidently. Tsunade looked serious and said solemnly, although you are really strong, Kushina, you must be careful on the battlefield. The elite Jonin has fallen a lot. Don't take the battlefield as a joke. Don't worry. I have a sense of measure. Now my strength is not the same as before. Just take what Chen said and call it Senior Master 3 days. Kushina has fully mastered the lava fruit and the elementalization of lava fruit. Unless the enemy uses a water style that looks like the sea, Kushina will not be able to do anything, and if you want to use the water style equivalent to the sea, who can do it? So Kushina is almost invincible as long as chakra and physical strength are not exhausted. Only Yin and Yang escape can capture the entity of Logia devil fruit. Hyuga Chen has experimented with this and also told Kushina to let Kushina pay attention. However, there are not many who can escape from Yin and Yang. In this era, if you don't know the specific situation, you can use the Yin and Yang escape, so you don't have to worry too much about Hyuga Chen, Uchiha Madara, and Black Zetsu. Hyuga Chen doesn't know about chakra, the fairy magic with natural energy. He hasn't practiced into sage mode yet, so he can't do experiments. Episode 86. Let me demonstrate it for you. Kushina is a showy culprit, and directly demonstrates elementalization to Tsunade. Tsunade was indeed shocked. This is like the hydration technique of the Ghost Lamp clan. But without the shortcomings of hydration, this technique is almost invincible. It's far from invincible. Hyuga Chen shook his head, and then said, whether it is armament hockey or Yin Yang done, you can attack the entity. As long as there is enough water, the magma can still be extinguished. Ah Chen, you guy tearing down my platform, I will kill you. Kushina bit Hyuga Chen's arm. Hyuga Chen is embarrassed. He doesn't know if Kushina is a dog. Anyway, it's not the first time she bites herself. Hurry up, or I'll use iron body, and you won't be able to keep a mouthful of teeth by then. Kushina bit Hyuga Chen, staring at him with both eyes, without any intention of letting go. Hyuga Chen is helpless. He just threatened him just now. It is impossible to really break Kushina's teeth. Kushina can only bite. Kushina won't use force anyway. Watching Hyuga Chen and Kushina fight 10 times, Tsunade's mood also improved. Mikoto took Conan's hand and watched the two of them with a smile. This was not the first time, Mikoto was used to it. By the way, where do we live? Do we also live in military tents like that? Kushina said, letting go. Let me build a house. Since you lighted the house, I started to specialize in building a house, and now it can be regarded as fruitful. Hyuga Chen said confidently, earth house technique. Hyuga Chen directly made a handsome one-handed seal. An earthen house rose from the ground, except that it looked a bit ugly, everything else was fine. This is too ugly. I feel a bit embarrassed to live in such a house. Kushina murmured, I feel okay. There is nothing wrong with it. Hyuga Chen himself thinks it's okay. He is not an architect, but a ninja, so naturally he doesn't pursue beauty. Unexpectedly, Chen would make a seal with one hand. Tsunade said in surprise. What's the matter? Mikoto will also make seals with one hand, which is easy to learn. Hyuga Chen said proudly. Mikoto too? Tsunade was even more surprised. Not many who could make prints with one hand. Yeah. Chen taught me. Mikoto nodded and said, don't worry about this, let's go in and take a look. In fact, this is also an enemy ninjutsu. Just remove the door and window and it will become a dungeon. Pushing open the rock door, walking in and taking a look, it was empty and full of the smell of earth. Can people really live in it? Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Hyuga Chen's face was a bit awkward, and the earthy breath was a bit heavy. This will be fine in a few days, and overall it is good. Hyuga Chen said stiffly. Mikoto, are you right? Hyuga Chen looked at Mikoto. Mikoto nodded gently, and said, it's really good. It should be very suitable for raising pigs. Hyuga Chen's face was wide, and he said depressed, if I have wood style, I will build a house with natural atmosphere for you in minutes. Wood style is only owned by my grandfather, so don't think about it. Tsunade couldn't help being shocked. Hyuga Chen laughed and said nothing. He now satisfies all the training conditions of wood style, but Hyuga Chen didn't mean to work hard on wood style. It's not that Hyuga Chen doesn't like wood style. Wood style is an explosive blood following Hyuga Chen's natural greedy, but Hyuga Chen doesn't need to spend time cultivating. Earlier, Hyuga Chen got a fusion scroll of the snare of blood. As long as it reaches the 6th level, Hyuga Chen can have the snare of blood. Then he can easily use any escape technique. The 7 chakra properties change fusion. Theoretically, you can use all the evasive blood inheritance limits. So Hyuga Chen doesn't want to waste time on this. He has a lot of abilities. Wood style can only be said to be the icing on the cake. It is obviously not worth it to waste time practicing wood style now. I think it's better to live in a tent. You should live in this house yourself. Kushina said, what's so bad about this house? This is a * level earth style ninjutsu, that is, ordinary a * level ninjutsu. Don't even want to break this house. It's durable and safe. Hyuga Chen still insisted that he built it himself. The house is the best. Actually, you can live here. You can bake it with fire style and then blow it with wind style. There will be no earthy smell. Mikoto smiled. I feel okay. Tsunade nodded. Then Mikoto used the great fireball technique to bake it, and then Kushina used wind style breakthrough to blow away the smell. Without the unpleasant earthy smell, it felt Oklahoma. After that, Mikoto will decorate it again. Except for the appearance of the house, it is no different from the house. I really don't know if you come to the battlefield to enjoy your life. It looks very good, and I will move in later. Tsunade said. In fact, she is very speechless. Hyuga Chen and the others are just like they are on vacation. They don't take war seriously at all. After remodeling the house, Hyuga Chen went to practice sage mode, Mikoto went to cook, Hyuga Chen and the others were not used to eating cold dry food, and didn't want to eat the army rations. It's so fragrant. It's been a long time since I smelled this scent. The food here can only satisfy your hunger at best, it doesn't taste at all. Tsunade smelled the scent of cooking, and his saliva flowed out. Then I didn't see Tsunade, you have lost weight. Kushina stared at Tsunade's chest enviously. Her poached eggs couldn't be compared to Tsunade's cow. What Kushina didn't know was that Tsunade was not as good as Kushina when he was at Kushina's age. After Mikoto made the meal, Hyuga Chen also stopped practicing, and then took Konan, who was quietly watching him, and went to eat together. Konan, you are still young, you need to eat more, you think you are so thin. Kushina put a piece of meat for Konan. Thank you, Sister Kushina. Konan picked up the meat happily and put it in his mouth. These days are the happiest days Konan has ever had. Some people are pampered, and there is food. When I was wandering in the past, I would be grateful to eat a meal in 2 or 3 days. Boom. 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 There was a knock on the door, and Hyuga Chen, who was eating happily, was upset. Who is it? It's really unpleasant to knock on the door while someone is eating. Kushina pouted. Let's go check it out. Hyuga Chen held down Mikoto, who wanted to get up, then got up and pushed open the door. Who are you? Just say something quickly, don't disturb people's silence. Hyuga Chen leaned against the door and said lightly, who built this house? Quickly demolish it. It was a middle-aged ninja who spoke. Captain, tell him so much about what you are doing, you can just dismantle it directly, said a young man behind the middle-aged ninja. Hey, I said, is this house getting in your way? Why do you say that it will be demolished? Hyuga Chen said uncomfortably, the house he built is going to be demolished when he comes up. Could it be that his house is still illegally built? Episode 87. The entire resident is using tents, but you are building a house. It was your fault if the enemy found out. The young ninja pointed at Hyuga Chen and said, I don't like being pointed with fingers. Hyuga Chen looked at the young ninja, a cold light flashed in his eyes. What about pointing at you? You are a kid who went to the battlefield to die, arrogant. The young ninja said disdainfully. Snapped. Hyuga Chen slapped him over, and the young ninja flew more than 10 meters away. All his teeth were lost and his face was swollen. It really gives you a face. You can pretend to be in front of me, but you have to show the strength of pretending. Otherwise Laozi's violent temper will directly beat you into a stupid believer or not. I don't understand, this camp is so big, the surrounding tents are not conspicuous? You think the enemy is blind? You can only see my house, it's really nothing to look for. Hyuga Chen didn't know if these guys were full and they were all right to take care of their business. What do you mean? I actually made a sneak attack on the members of my squad. Is it a spy from the enemy country? The middle-aged ninja, who seemed a little honest, came up and convicted Hyuga Chen. Hyuga Chen looked at each other, and finally knew what it means to be kind and black. I understand, you are here to find the fault. Yes. You are awesome, spies are you? I think you are quite suitable as spies. Hyuga Chen's blue eyes waved, using his ability to manipulate puppets. Under the control of Hyuga Chen, they yelled Long Live Sand Shinobi Village and made contributions to Rain Shinobi Village. Rock Shinobi Village swept all enemies and other messy slogans, and then attacked the surrounding tents. Unexpectedly, they burned several tents and killed several ninjas in a sneak attack, and finally died in a bloody battle. Hyuga Chen sneered coldly, then turned around and went back to the room. What's the matter? Tsunade asked curiously. A few guys are just asking for trouble. They should be instigated by others, but I don't know who instigated them. Hyuga Chen can't believe that the other party is asking for trouble for no reason. If they are performing a confidential task, it is understandable that the other party will find him because of the house. But this is a battlefield, and the location of Konoha camp is clearly in front of others, so there are still people who are looking for trouble, and someone must have instructed it. Could it be that the old man of third generation instigated him? You offended him before. It must be him. You know that old man is not a good thing. Kushina said angrily. It shouldn't be third generation. Third generation will only have no lower limit when you are with Danzo. Other times it is okay. This kind of thing should not be done by third generation, it should be done by Danzo. Hyuga Chen thinks about it. Said, although Sarutobi Hiruzen is not a good thing, he shouldn't be instructed to do such an unlimited thing. Sarutobi Hiruzen has not been shameless to such an extent. Don't worry about who instigated it, there is no need to know so much. It's important to eat. Hyuga Chen buried his head in the meal. He was not interested in who ordered it. If he really seemed to know, he would use Tenseigan to check their memories before. You eat less, we don't eat as much as you add up. Leave some for us. Tsunade said dissatisfiedly, read more at hauntnovel.xyz. It's okay, I can do it if it's not enough. Mikoto said softly. After eating, Tsunade went to move things. She will live here too. Mikoto and Kushina went to help. Even Konan went with them. Hyuga Chen sat in the room in a daze. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Hyuga Chen looked at the door suspiciously. Why is he here? Hyuga Chen was a little puzzled, but still got up and opened the door. Mr. Chen, long time no see. Orochimaru looked at Hyuga Chen with a smile. Hyuga Chen curled his lips and went to the palace of the three treasures. With a smile on his face, he definitely had something to find himself. Come in. Hyuga Chen invited Orochimaru in. Mr. Chen, you really enjoy it. Orochimaru looked at it and said, look at what you said, Uncle Snake, isn't life just for enjoyment? I wonder if Uncle Snake is looking for me? Just tell me. Hyuga Chen asked while looking at Orochimaru. Hearing Uncle Snake's name, Orochimaru's mouth twitched, and then he didn't whisper, nor was he a whisper. The previous illusion on Danzo was released by Mr. Chen, right? Yes, I did release it. There is no need to hide Orochimaru. Hyuga Chen knows him. He will never say it. Moreover, even if he says it, Hyuga Chen doesn't care. Strength decides everything. Orochimaru was stunned, he didn't expect Hyuga Chen to admit it directly. Mr. Chen is such an interesting person. Orochimaru said, licking the corner of his mouth. Hyuga Chen feels a bit chilly. Orochimaru is a pervert, so he won't have any perverted hobbies. Resisting the thought of smearing his face with Rasengan, Hyuga Chen said angrily, hurry up and say business, or I will see off the guests. Mr. Chen is really impatient. Orochimaru said with a smile. Hyuga Chen's face is completely black, and now Hyuga Chen wants to beat him very much. What he said is too ambiguous. Seeing that Hyuga Chen's face was so dark, Orochimaru also talked about business. I don't know if Mr. Chen's illusion is Hitomi or ninjutsu. Orochimaru asked. Before Hyuga Chen didn't get the seal, he just glanced at Danzo, which made Danzo fall into illusion, so Orochimaru was a little confused. Oh? I don't even have Byakugan, why do you think I use pupil surgery? Orochimaru smiled without saying a word. His ability to perceive danger was one of the best. When facing Hyuga Chen's eyes, he could feel the extreme danger. So Orochimaru is sure that Hyuga Chen's eyes are definitely not ordinary, and they are definitely not comparable to Byakugan. Seeing that Orochimaru didn't say anything, Hyuga Chen didn't ask again. I don't use pupil technique, but it can also be used as pupil technique. After Orochimaru heard it, he smiled. Mr. Chen, I wonder if we can make a deal. Do you want this illusion? Yes, Mr. Chen's illusion technique is definitely the strongest illusion technique I have ever seen. Orochimaru's face was frantic. Hyuga Chen smiled. Illusory art Terra Reincarnation is an illusion that Hyuga Chen created based on Izanami's forbidden art ability and monthly reading of illusion art, which took a long time to create. It can be compared to the Mangekyo Sharingan illusion. If you want to escape the illusion of Terra Reincarnation, you must forcefully break the illusion space with mental power, otherwise you can never escape. Even if you forcefully break the illusion of Terra Reincarnation, you have to pay the price of mental damage. Unless your mental power is 10 times that of the caster, you cannot be damaged. If you can't break this illusion, you will wait to be constantly eroded by your spiritual power, and finally be wiped out with your soul. Facing this illusion, it is best to break the illusion space forcibly from the beginning, so as to minimize the damage. The power is definitely one of the best in illusion. Episode 88. Since it's a deal, then I have to see what deal you get. You can't get a rubbish thing, just want to get my powerful illusion. Hyuga Chen looked at Orochimaru. Seeing that Hyuga Chen did not refuse, Orochimaru was happy. As long as he did not refuse, it would be easy to do. If Hyuga Chen refused directly, he would have a headache. I don't know what Chen needs. Call me Chen directly. Mr. Chen called me very awkward. You first show your sincerity, let me see it first. Hyuga Chen knows that Orochimaru has a lot of Konoha's forbidden techniques. These are stored in the Book of Seals, and most people have no way to reach them. For some of these forbidden techniques, even Hyuga Chen would like to study it, such as impure world reincarnation technique. Orochimaru had a headache and began to think silently. Although there are a lot of ninjutsu in his hands, most of them are ordinary ninjutsu. After thinking for a while, Orochimaru took out a scroll and said, "It records the space ninjutsu Flying Thunder God developed by second Hokage, as well as summoning impure world reincarnation, and first Hokage's summoning five-fold Rashomon." Not sure if this is possible, Hyuga Chen was stunned. He didn't expect Orochimaru to give so rich, all of them were S-rank ninjutsu. In fact, Orochimaru is not stupid. The ninjutsu he gave to the 860 is generally impossible for people to practice, such as the space ninjutsu of Flying Thunder God. Orochimaru cannot practice, and it is just a waste to keep it. Impure world reincarnation Orochimaru is really interested, but the practice is too difficult. So far Orochimaru has no idea. The 5-tier Rashomon defensive summoning technique consumes too much chakra, and Orochimaru can also summoning the triple Rashomon, which is equivalent to a * level ninjutsu, and it doesn't hurt to exchange it. I didn't expect Uncle Snake to be very generous. Then I won't come to these imaginary ones. This is the practice scroll of Illusory Snake. Orochimaru put out so many powerful ninjutsu, how can Hyuga Chen disagree? After Orochimaru took the training scroll of Terra Reincarnation, he quickly opened it for inspection. After checking it, Orochimaru knew it was true. Chen, you are really a genius. You have developed such a powerful illusion, but if you take it out so easily, you are not afraid that someone will use this illusion against you. Orochimaru said with a smile, and Orochimaru was very happy to get what he wanted. Since I dare to trade, I naturally won't be afraid. Hyuga Chen gave Orochimaru a deep look. The abilities of illusion and horror reincarnation are also different from person to person. The stronger the mental power is, the stronger it will be when it is used. And Hyuga Chen's own research on the technique, there is no way to crack it. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. More importantly, Hyuga Chen has now developed a stronger illusion. On the basis of the horror reincarnation, Hyuga Chen has developed a stronger illusion and infinite reincarnation. Illusory infinite reincarnation is basically incomprehensible, unless someone's mental power is 10 times stronger than Hyuga Chen, otherwise he can only wait for death in the illusory space. It is an upgraded version of Illusory Terror, Reincarnation of Terror. The Super S-level Ultimate Profound Illusory can only be compared with Infinite Tsukuyomi and Distinguished Heavenly Gods. Thank you Chen, I won't bother and leave. After the goal was achieved, Orochimaru didn't want to stay any longer. He wanted to go back and study this illusion. We are just getting what we need. There is no need to thank me. We may have trading opportunities in the future. Hyuga Chen shook his head and said, then look forward to the next deal with you. Orochimaru looked back at Hyuga Chen, and then left. As soon as Orochimaru left the house, he met Tsunade and the others. Orochimaru, why are you here? Tsunade asked suspiciously. It turned out to be Tsunade. I asked Chen for a little thing, now it's finished, so I'll leave. Orochimaru hurriedly left. He couldn't wait to study the illusion art exchanged with Hyuga Chen. It's strange. Tsunade murmured, then walked into the room, looked at Hyuga Chen and asked, what is Orochimaru looking for? Find me in exchange for ninjutsu. Hyuga Chen fiddled with the ninjutsu scroll in his hand. What ninjutsu? Let me see. Tsunade reached out and took it, then was stunned. These are all forbidden techniques. Even if Orochimaru is a disciple of third generation, he can't get it, right? Tsunade said in astonishment. This is the ninjutsu of the Senju family. You should also have it in the Senju family? Only the ninjutsu left by Grandpa, and all the others have been written into the Book of Seal by Grandpa II. Even the Senju clan can't check it without authorization. Tsunade shook his head. The second Hokage is really a pit, not for the Senju family at all. It seems that the decline of the Senju family is not without reason. Hyuga Chen vomited. Well, it's my second grandfather after all. We don't have the right to talk. Let's rest early. We may be on the battlefield tomorrow. Tsunade handed the scroll to Hyuga Chen and said. Hyuga Chen put away the scroll and nodded. There was no word for a night, and in the early morning of the next day, a clamor came, causing Hyuga Chen and the others to be awakened. What's the matter? Is there a fight? Hyuga Chen rubbed his eyes, ready to go out and have a look. You don't need to read it, there should be a sneak attack by the enemy team, it's not a big deal, just get used to it. Tsunade yawned and said, Mikoto, let's cook. Only when you are full, do you have the strength to fight. Tsunade sat at the table carelessly, not at all in the hustle and bustle of the unexpected face, he was obviously used to it. After breakfast, someone came to inform them to gather. By the time Hyuga Chen and the others arrived, the troops had been assembled. I don't know if it was because Hyuga Chen offended Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hyuga Chen, who thought he would be assigned to the logistics department, was directly incorporated into the frontal combat force. Hyuga Chen doesn't care about this, anyway, he has the strength and willfulness. Mikoto and Kushina were assigned to the logistics department, and Hyuga Chen handed Konan to them. Although Hyuga Chen took Konan to the battlefield, it would not have any effect, but after thinking about it, Hyuga Chen decided not to take Konan. The battlefield scene was too bloody. With the strength of Mikoto and Kushina, Hyuga Chen is also assured that there is absolutely no problem with protecting Konan. Little devil, this is the first time I have experienced such a scene, will I scare my pants? Jiraiya walked over and put his arms around Hyuga Chen's neck. No, I'm actually looking forward to such a scene. The battlefield is a man's romance. Hyuga Chen hugged Ryujin Jaka in front of his chest and said lightly, it's just a kid, what kind of man? But you still like to use a sword? Jiraiya pointed to Hyuga Chen's Ryujin Jaka. I'm very good at swordsmanship. It's okay to kill you, Uncle Toad, with a single sword. Would you like to try it? Hyuga Chen smiled and looked at Jiraiya. Jiraiya's face turned green, and then he ignored the uncute kid. Episode 89. Boy, if you want to learn sword art, you can learn from Senior Shumo. After a while, Jiraiya came over again. Hatake Shumao? Hyuga Chen followed Jiraiya's gaze and looked at a serious ninja with long silver hair and ponytails not far away. In the eyes of Hyuga Chen, Hatake Shumo is indeed a tragedy, but Hyuga Chen does not pity him. Suicide because of other people's accusations, the dead thieves are stunned. Anyway, Hyuga Chen looks down on such people. If you die, you will die vigorously. As a result, your TM's nest committed suicide at home, even worse than Danzo's turtle grandson. Hey! Look at you, you seem to be very disdainful of him, your kid is too rampant. Do you know that Senior Sakumo is our second master at Konoha, who made the 3 ninjas of Ninja Village tremble with one hand? The strength is second only to Hokage. Jiraiya is dissatisfied with Hyuga Chen's disdainful eyes. Hatake Sakumo is his idol. Don't be nonsense, let's go. Hyuga Chen pushed Jiraiya away. The kid nowadays is really not cute. Jiraiya said depressedly. On the battlefield, the ninjas of Konoha Village face off against the ninjas of Rain Shinobi Village, Sand Shinobi Village, and Rock Shinobi Village. Except for the slight wind, the entire battlefield was extremely quiet. The two sides had collided with each other before the battle, sweeping the dust on the ground. Why do you start a war and invade my country of fire? Sarutobi Hiruzen stood at the forefront and asked angrily. Ha ha ha. Sarutobi Hiruzen, you are also qualified to say this. If it weren't for you to invade my country of rain first, how come I, Rain Shinobi Village, would join the war? Hanzo of the Salamander laughed angrily, feeling that Sarutobi Hiruzen was shameless up. Sarutobi Hiruzen is speechless. There is no right or wrong in war, each for their own interests, no need to say more. Let's go to war, said Inoki, a little old man with a red nose. At the beginning, he and his teacher were miserably bullied by Uchiha Madara. They were pressed on the ground and humiliated, which made Inoki feel jealous towards Konoha. No way, I can't beat Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara is already dead, so I can only count the hatred on Konoha. Between Rock Shinobi Village and Konoha Village, it can be considered a feud. This can't be blamed on Rock Shinobi Village's stingy, whoever came to form an alliance, and the alliance was not formed, and he was beaten and humiliated. No one would hate it. This can only be blamed on their bad luck. They met Uchiha Madara, a domineering guy. If you see Senju Hashirama, it might be another situation. Konoha was defeated steadily before, and his momentum was extremely low. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Naruto himself, is playing in person. This is not just to increase your high-level combat power, but the most important thing is to improve Konoha's morale. Read more at hontnovel.xyz. Konoha's aura has increased a lot, but the aura on the other side is even better. Everyone is very confident, because they have more people than Konoha. Konoha has more than 7,000 ninjas, and the Three Kingdoms Alliance has more than 15,000 ninjas, twice as many as Konoha shinobi. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes condensed, and then shouted, Fire Style Ninja release Fire Style, Wind Style Ninja follow, release Wind Style, use combined ninjutsu. Under the order of Sarutobi Hiruzen, Fire Style and Wind Style came out together, forming a huge torrent of flames, like the Fire Style of the Sea of Flames, rushing towards the opposite side. It's despicable. The ninja of Rain Shinobi Village releases Water Style for me to resist the flames. Hanzo yelled. The ninja of Rock Shinobi Village obeyed the order to use Earth Style, Tenryu Wall. Onogi roared along. As for Sand Shinobi Village, as they specialize in Wind Style, there is no need to join in the fun. Hyuga Chen, who saw this kind of scene for the first time, smashed his tongue. It was really spectacular. This kind of scene where thousands of ninjas jointly use ninjutsu is indeed magnificent, and the average shadow class will definitely kneel in the face of such an attack. How about it? See it? Don't be arrogant in the future. Tsunade said behind Hyuga Chen. Cut. I didn't blow. I can solve more than half of these ninjas with one move. Hyuga Chen curled his lips in disdain. Whether it is Ba Chi Cheong Goyu, Lei Ying, or Chaoshan Luo Tianjing, these moves can sweep the audience. If you use Golden Will Reincarnation Explosion or Silver Will Reincarnation Explosion, you can scare them foolishly. Hyuga Chen is not short of the skills of the soldiers. This joint ninjutsu seems to be powerful, but it is not powerful enough. Even if the third Raikage comes to resist these attacks, it will not be injured, not to mention the more abnormal Hyuga Chen. Even if he resisted an attack of this level, Hyuga Chen would not be injured. Let me give them a bit too. I have never seen blood since I got Ryujin Jaka. Hyuga Chen said lightly after pulling out Ryujin Jaka. Chop. Ryujin Jaka in Hyuga Chen's hand swung at the coalition forces in Sannin Village. With a huge sword pressure, he cut through the opponent's thousands of miles of earth flow wall with lightning speed. As long as the ninja is on this straight line, they are divided into two halves. Gudong. The ninja who saw the sword pressure swallowed a few saliva, all was shocked. What a strong swordsmanship, I'm not as good as it is. Hataki saw the powerful sword pressure, and thought it was not good. This kid is so strong, I thought he was pretending to have a sword. Jiraiya looked at Hyuga Chen in shock. There was a gleam in Orochimaru's eyes. It was not too surprising. When he saw Hyuga Chen for the first time, he knew that Hyuga Chen was not easy, but the snake's induction was very keen. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at this scene with a slightly ugly expression. If someone else showed such strength, Sarutobi Hiruzen would be absolutely happy at this critical moment of Konoha, but the opponent is Hyuga Chen. Through these few days of understanding, Sarutobi Hiruzen has roughly understood that Hyuga Chen does not have much sense of belonging to Konoha village. Otherwise, he wouldn't even be ashamed of his own Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen has defined Hyuga Chen as a factor of instability, otherwise he would not be incorporated into the frontal combat force. It is Sarutobi Hiruzen who wants to borrow the hand of the enemy to get rid of the unstable factor of Hyuga Chen. Now Hyuga Chen's powerful strength has made Sarutobi Hiruzen more dignified. With the previous illusions and the current swordsmanship, Hyuga Chen has risen to the point where Sarutobi Hiruzen cannot ignore it. Hyuga Chen's face showed joy, not because of the power of the sword, but because he felt that Ryujin Jaka, who had not moved, was shaking and excited. What's the matter? Tsunade looked at the excited Hyuga Chen and asked. Forcibly suppressing the excitement in his heart, Hyuga Chen shook his head and said, nothing. Ryujin Jaka, who has been unable to shurikai while stroking the blade, is finally moving, which is a good sign. Does Ryujin Jaka need to kill to shurikai? Hyuga Chen wondered in his heart. Episode 90, no matter what, you have to try it. Hyuga Chen held Ryujin Jaka, his eyes flashed with cold light. Looking at the enemy on the opposite side, Hyuga Chen's eyes became cold and merciless. As long as Ryujin Jaka can shurikai, what about killing them all? On the opposite side is a group of unarmed civilians. In order to try shurikai, Hyuga Chen can slaughter them, not to mention that the opposite side is full of sinful ninjas. There is no good person who becomes a ninja. Although it seems to be very arbitrary and knocks a group of people down, it is true. There is no such thing as an absolutely good person in this world, let alone a ninja who kills for a living, which is equivalent to a killer career. Moreover, in Hyuga Chen's eyes, there is no difference between a good person and a bad person. In his eyes, there are only two kinds of people, one is his own and the other is someone else. Looking at the group of people who are still throwing kunai shuriken, Hyuga Chen looked anxious and wanted to rush directly. It has been half an hour since the start of the war, but the total number of people who died on both sides will not exceed 3 digits. Is this the cruelty of the battlefield? I think it's not as fun as playing house. Hyuga Chen vomited. Now it's just a test, consume the opponent's strength, and really fight, you will know the cruelty of the battlefield. Tsunade said softly, don't stalemate with them, our ninja is more than twice as much as Konoha, let's just kill it. Third Kazekage suggested, okay, I have no opinion. Hanzo of the Salamander nodded, such a stalemate is really meaningless, and they can't take advantage of it. Then charge, and defeat them directly this time. Third Tsuchikajinoki did not object to Third Kazekage's proposal. The whole army is ready to throw another round of kunai, we charge. Don't be stingy with the detonation talisman in our hands, all the detonation talisman on kunai. Third Kazekage shouted, he knows that detonation charms are very expensive, thousands of two, but the war is the money, and now is not the time to be stingy. There is a detonation talisman, be careful, and use earth style, to resist. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't care about that much anymore, and tried his best to use earth style. The detonating talisman is no less powerful than ninjutsu, especially with so many detonating talisman, the power is even greater. The other side is really stupid, this detonation talisman doesn't hide it, it just hangs on the hoop of Kuwu, afraid that others will not see it, are you? Hyuga Chen ranted frantically, there is really no way not to complain, you hang on it brightly, and you just tell the enemy directly, I'm going to use the detonation talisman, you are ready. After throwing the Kumaka detonator, Third Kazekage, Third Tsuchikage, and Hanzo of the Salamander immediately rushed forward. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. After resisting the bombardment of the detonation talisman, Hanzo of the Salamander and the others were close in front of them, and Sarutobi Hiruzen had no time to say anything, summoning out of the Saru demon, and then greeted Hanzo of the Salamander and Anoki. Hataki Tsukumo holds short sword White Fang and fights with Third Kazekage. Tsunade also leaped to meet the Thousand Generations. Jiraiya blocked Urazo, Orochimaru, and Tsuchikage assisted in the match, resisting the opponent's shadow-level combat power. However, Jiraiya and Orochimaru were still a little reluctant, especially Jiraiya, who was almost beaten down. At this time, Jiraiya was not as stubborn as later. Sarutobi Hiruzen faced off against the demigods Hanzo of the Salamander and Anoki alone. Now he is uncomfortable and can only barely resist the two offensives. If you are facing a person, Sarutobi Hiruzen is absolutely easy. Sarutobi Hiruzen is still very strong now, and the strength of the peak of the film is not a joke. However, it was very reluctant to play against two shadow-level peaks by one person. Originally, in Sarutobi Hiruzen's plan, Danzo helped him to share the burden, but Danzo has been brought down by Hyuga Chen, making Sarutobi Hiruzen very passive. Glancing at the battle situation of the top combat power, Hyuga Chen looked at the three-nation coalition forces ahead with a bloodthirsty smile on his face. Without using other abilities, just relying on physical skills and sword skills, Hyuga Chen rushed into the crowd, and the cold light flashed, killing 5 genin cannon fodder with a single blow. Then it turns into a flash of lightning that travels through the battlefield, and every time the sword is swung, one or more lives will be taken away. With the constant killing and constant swinging of the sword, Hyuga Chen felt that he and Ryujin Jaka seemed to merge into one. The extremely hot breath is constantly entwining Ryujin Jaka and Hyuga Chen's body. With this feeling, are you going to start Shurkai of Ryujin Jaka? Feeling the breath of Ryujin Jaka, Hyuga Chen appeared a little dazed. You demon, die for me. A Chunin from Rock Shinobi Village, watching Hyuga Chen, who stopped killing and stabbed Hyuga Chen with kunai. Hyuga Chen regained consciousness suddenly, gave him a cold look, and then chopped off his head with a sword, trying to take the opportunity to attack him. There is no, quickly stop him. An elite jonin yelled. In just a few minutes, more than 100 people died in the hands of Hyuga Chen. If he was allowed to kill like this, no matter how many people there were, they would not be enough for Hyuga Chen to kill. This is really killing people like cutting grass. As long as you swing a sword, a head will fly into the sky. Even if Hyuga Chen's face is immature, no one dares to underestimate him. On the battlefield, everything speaks of strength, not age. 5 jonin and elite jonin rushed towards Hyuga Chen, trying to kill Hyuga Chen. He is so strong at such a young age. If he is allowed to grow up, he does not know how strong he can be, and it is a threat to their village. Look for death, chop. Hyuga Chen swung his sword, and 5 heads flew up with one arm. 5 jonin were dead, and the elite jonin lost one arm even though he hid. Hyuga Chen swung the sword too fast. Even this elite jonin, relying on the sense of crisis in his heart, can save his life by avoiding it in advance. After the sword was crushed and killed 5 people, the castration continued unabated, and those who were blocking the front, whether it was rain shinobi, rock shinobi, sand shinobi, or Konoha's ninja, were all cut into two pieces. It cannot be said that Hyuga Chen deliberately killed his teammates, only that the sword does not have eyes. This is also the reason why few people use large-scale ninjutsu on the battlefield, because they hurt the enemy and themselves. The two sides are entangled on the battlefield, and there is no way to avoid it, so as long as they are not the kind of unscrupulous people, neither 2.0 will choose to use a wide range of ninjutsu. But Hyuga Chen doesn't care so much. He is an unscrupulous person. If you block my attack line, you can only say that your life is not good. Are you the one who swung that sword before? Jonin, the elite with severed arm, asked in horror. Because they used ninjutsu to withstand Konoha's offensive, they blocked their vision, and they didn't know who made the initial cut. In fact, they thought that the sword just now was cut by Hatake Sakumo. After all, after fighting in these days, they also realized the strength of Hatake Sakumo. Although the two sides are hostile ninjas, it does not affect their admiration for Hatake Sakumo's strength. I never thought that the sword energy that smashed their defense before was released by the little devil, Hyuga Chen.